All right, everybody, welcome back. This is the second episode of the Coach's Corner podcast. I'm your host, Tanner Beasley, and today I'm here with the head volleyball coach at Banks County High School, Miss LaHayne. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Good. So let's get straight into these questions.
Okay.
So y'all's season so far, you guys are what now? Did y'all play last night?
We did play last night.
How did that go?
It could have been better. We had a little bit of a scheduling issue with our refs.
Okay.
However, end of the day, the girls played really well.
Yeah.
We're sitting 3-2 right now in the area, which we haven't really started playing a whole lot. We will get into more games tomorrow, granted, given the weather, and then into next week.
Okay. And you guys are being 3-2 in area. You guys are trying to make obviously a strong push for playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How do you guys prepare for these next couple of weeks where y'all are really trying to make that push?
Just looking over film. That's really important. Looking at our girls, that we're going to be going up against, seeing where their holes are, seeing where their weaknesses are. Yeah. Kind of building our practice around that, working on different skills drills that obviously will accent our highlights, but then also to be able to take on those challenges we're going to face.
Yeah, so volleyball, just like any other sport, film is a big component.
Very much so. Not only does it help us watching, what our opponents do, but also seeing our mistakes. That's where, watching that film, we can see what we, need to work on. Yeah.
So you guys, volleyball as a whole, really has just been recently added to Banks County in the year, 2019, 2020 season?
Yeah, this is actually our 5th season. So,
okay.
Yeah. So very much babies.
Yeah.
We are very much in our infancy compared to other schools that we go up against.
Yes. And you guys have still found success even early in the program. Y'all have had some very successful years. Last year, y'all guys were 30-10 on the year, which is
it was a phenomenal
season. Very, very good season. So being, I guess, the babies of the volleyball in the area, how do you guys become, like, all of a sudden a really, really good program in just 5 years?
We were lucky. A lot of the girls that graduated last year, they kind of the starters of the program. So they started at the middle school level. A couple of those girls I actually coached at the rec level when we started a rec program. Yeah. So we had some phenomenal athletes, girls who were working outside of season. So doing club, doing training, just staying busy, working in the weight room, doing the things that really counted and mattered. Really, last year, I can't brag enough on that group of girls.
Yeah.
Even some of the girls that I had this year, they were just phenomenal athletes.
Yeah. So obviously, talking about that group last year, you lost a lot of your foundation from last year. So how have you guys sort of like rebuilt this year with the new players coming in?
Well, we still have a lot of our group from last year. We did lose 5, very important positions in our seniors, but we do have, a returning setter, 2 returning setters actually, and then a returning outside, middle. So we have we've even brought up some really good sophomores that have really helped us, and even some of our juniors that have been pivotal in that kind of transition. But again, that same group that we graduated last year, we still have a lot of the dedication that we had. So we're able, I feel like we've been able to transition. However, we did switch areas. We, are playing, I've scheduled a lot of tough teams for us to kind of help. We've taken losses, but we've also gained from that. So
learning from playing those really good teams, and you would accredit the building of this program. So you said you started with rec and coached those girls all the way up. So you kind of built a relationship with them along the way.
Yes. So really, with my coaching, I loved volleyball. I played basketball and volleyball in high school. I went on to play volleyball in college, and I was a Habersham girl, so I helped Habersham start their middle school program, and then later on, after having my own child and getting her involved in the sport, I also helped to start a rec program here at Banks County with several other local members of the community, and with that, just it began to kind of flow, and then they after the rec league, they started a middle school program. By that point, I had gone on and was at Tallulah Falls and was coaching their middle school and JV. So I fluctuated back and forth, and then here I am. So just kind of, yes, a lot of relationships that started early on. So like Addison, who graduated last year, I've known Beasley, for a really long time as well. And then even like Emmy Chitwood this year with having a relationship with these girls.
So what kind of get into now, what does a normal practice look like for you guys, for the volleyball team?
We start every day just getting warmed up, getting stretched out, making sure, injuries is the one thing we cannot have, as with any sport. So we get started with just the warm-ups, going into, again, working on those skills. If we have a team that we're looking to, really, we're going to have to maybe cover a lot more or, serve receive is something maybe that we're going to have to work on. We'll go into serve receive drills or tip drills, cover drills, hitting, different things like that we'll just work on. I mean, each day is planned differently based on, what the competition looks like on the following day.
So now get into, what do you think the biggest strength of your team is? Is it the fact that you've built this program and it's kind of like they're a family now? Or is it, what do you think it is?
I do think they have that, family connection. With families, you get along some days and some days you may not, but they are able to overcome those moments, and that has helped us tremendously this year. They're also strong on so many different fronts. They put forth effort. They're willing to grow. They do take, criticism. A lot of them, Coach Hannah and myself, when we, promote them, say, hey, you need to work on this. A lot of them will genuinely work on it. That may not be, they'll ask questions or, whatever it is they need. But I do feel like as far as that goes, we're strong in serve receive. Our hitting is also very strong. I mean, just overall, it's been a really good group. And I really feel like just a good continuation even from last year.
So volleyball, separate from other sports, it seems like depth is very vital to your team. You're always rotating players in and out. Well, you see it on football, basketball, sports like you don't always get that. Right. So it's very important to have a
we have a very large varsity team. There's 13 total girls. We do a lot of rotation, different positions. I've got 3 middles, 3 outsides. There's a lot. We have 3 opposites. One is our main setter, but also we'll rotate in some hitters on that right side, and just to get some big blocks. We've got Hayden Carroll on the outside doing some blocking. I mean, she's phenomenal with her height in general. As with every sport, some days you're on, some days you're not. So having that depth is definitely helpful.
Feel out who's feeling it that day, I guess you could say.
Sure.
Yeah. So now we're going to get into more personal questions. How did you get into coaching? Okay. Obviously, you said you played in college.
Yeah, so I did. I played. This was a sport. I actually started out playing softball. Yeah. So my dad really pushed me into sports, basketball, softball. Softball, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't really my thing. Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to do something different. And so at Habersham, one of the coaches had reached out and said, hey, have you ever thought about playing volleyball? And I was like, no, but I did, and I absolutely loved it. So like I said, I knew I wanted to always be involved in sports. Even when I went into college, like with my education, I wasn't sure where that path would lead me with my career, but here I am, I'm teaching. And like I said, starting the programs, that was very rewarding for me, to start these programs throughout these different communities, just because they are communities that are close to my heart. And now living in Banks County, my children go into Banks County, so we have a lot of connection with that. And then just being at Tallulah Falls, because I taught there for a while. But just overall, I love the sport and coaching, and just seeing and watching young athletes, students develop into young adults. It's been phenomenal. Just like last year, watching Caitlin and Lola continue their career in volleyball has been really rewarding, I guess, for me as well, to kind of see that growth in them.
Yes, ma'am. So, last question here. What do you look for in your ideal player as far as skill and work ethic?
Hardworking, obviously. Any coach wants somebody who's going to work hard, somebody who's going to put in the extra time. Constructive criticism, I think that's something that a lot of kids struggle with, even adults struggle with, is criticism. And being able to take that and apply it to, hey, what can I work on? And then hearing that and actually doing something with it and not getting upset. But, ball control skills, being able to serve, to jump, to be willing to work in the weight room. On and off the court, I expect them to be academically responsible. I just want to make sure, that my athletes are setting an example. I would prefer tall, even though I can't really, order that one. That is one thing in a lot of teams we've gone up against. We don't have as much height as some of them. But, positive attitudes, being vocal, communicating with one another, and just able, again, to take that guidance and constructive criticism overall would be my perfect cookie cutter.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. This was the second episode of the Coach's Corner podcast. Thank you so much for watching.